At the moment of his death, Sergey finally discovered the secret of this world. For decades, he had tried to be a good man, worked hard, lived righteously. But no matter what he did, everything seemed destined to serve another purpose, to become a wedding dress for the true protagonist of this world. Someone else was always meant to shine while Sergey remained in the shadows. But fate gave him an unexpected gift: rebirth. This time, he vowed to rewrite his story from the very beginning, starting from the moment of birth itself. And this time, he would not let that other person destroy his life again. Even before birth, though Sergey could see nothing in the darkness of the womb, he refused to waste time. He began exercising daily, moving his tiny limbs in the confined space, building strength and coordination. By the third day of his unusual routine, his mother Anna could no longer ignore the strange, rhythmic movements. Concerned, she asked the doctor to perform an ultrasound to check if something was wrong with her baby. The doctor examined the monitor with growing confusion. "Mrs. Volkova, your child is extremely active. The movements start every day at 9 p.m., regular as clockwork. More disciplined than most adults, actually." He paused, doubting his own professional judgment for a moment. But protocols were protocols, so he ordered Anna to undergo a complete examination. When the results came back, the doctor was genuinely shocked. "Mrs. Volkova, your baby is perfectly healthy. In fact, remarkably advanced. In the previous scan, the baby was in the wrong position with the umbilical cord wrapped around the neck. But now, not only has the baby repositioned itself correctly, it appears to have carefully unwrapped the cord. It's almost as if the child is consciously controlling its own body. What a genius." Sergey, listening to the muffled voices from inside the womb, suddenly heard a familiar, grating sound, a woman's voice he recognized all too well. That voice belonged to Svetlana, who in his previous life had been the mother of his rival. A chill ran through him. He realized immediately his enemy, the boy named Artyom, was also being born in this same hospital, probably in the next ward. In his past life, he and Artyom had been born in the same hospital on the same night. Back then, it seemed like mere coincidence. Now, Sergey understood it was fate's cruel joke. That night, his suspicion was confirmed. Anna went for a walk in the hospital corridor, and Sergey listened carefully to the surrounding conversations. Svetlana's room was bustling with visitors: her wealthy husband, relatives bringing expensive supplements, nurses attending to her every need. Meanwhile, Anna's room was quiet and lonely. A sympathetic nurse asked her, "Why are you here alone? Doesn't your husband come to visit?" Anna forced a smile. "My husband is working. I can manage by myself." But she was lying. Sergey knew the truth. He had no father. His mother was a career woman who, at age 25, had a one-night encounter at the company's annual party. She woke up the next morning not knowing who the man was, and by the time she discovered she was pregnant, the father was long gone. In his previous life, Sergey didn't learn about his wealthy biological family until he was 8 years old, when a random medical test revealed the connection. By then, Artyom was already established as the golden child in that family. This time would be different. Sergey intensified his prenatal training regimen. Besides the regular exercises, he used every method he could to learn about the outside world. He listened to hallway conversations, caught the evening news broadcasts at 7 p.m., eavesdropped on families visiting other pregnant women to assess their characters. His mother quickly adapted to his 9-to-5 exercise schedule. She would walk through the hospital daily with her large belly. Not only did she become familiar with all the obstetricians, but her own physical strength improved dramatically. A week later, both Anna and Svetlana went into labor almost simultaneously in adjacent delivery rooms. Anna was still hesitating when suddenly she felt a sharp sensation. The attending nurse watched in amazement as within minutes, a healthy baby boy practically delivered himself with wide-open eyes. This baby was just born. Anna's 5-minute delivery set the fastest birth record in the hospital's history. All the pregnant women came to visit, hoping for similar good fortune. Anna held baby Sergey proudly. "I don't even know what happened. The child just came out on his own. Too smart, didn't want to make his mother suffer." After birth, Sergey became a celebrity among expectant mothers. Whenever anyone approached, Sergey would smile with his bright eyes. His cheerful disposition charmed everyone. "This child has such a wonderful temperament, always smiling, like a little angel. You're so lucky, not like the woman next door." When Sergey heard this, his ears perked up. His mother explained, "You mean Mrs. Sokolova? She had terrible complications during delivery. One day and one night in the emergency room." Anna held Sergey tighter. "Good child. Thank goodness you didn't hurt your mother. 3 days later, Anna transferred to the postpartum recovery center, and Sergey continued his disciplined routine. Milk at 7 a.m., movement exercises and vocal training. Milk at noon, news broadcast before napping. Milk at 7 p.m., story time before sleep. He managed his schedule with strict precision. Half a month passed. To Sergey's surprise, Svetlana and her family moved into a room near theirs, with her husband, mother-in-law, and an elderly gentleman who commanded respect. Sergey recognized that familiar figure immediately. He knew he shouldn't speak so early, but he couldn't resist. Opening his mouth, he clearly called out, quote 9. The crowded room fell silent. Everyone turned to stare at the infant. Anna looked at her son with shock and disbelief. Sergey gazed back innocently, then turned toward the elderly man and smiled. Quote 10. The old man pushed through the crowd. Quote 11. He studied Sergey's features. This child looks exactly like I did in my youth. With trembling hands, the grandfather pulled out an orange document, a genetic test certificate, and handed it to Anna. The old man scooped Sergey into his arms. Grandfather likes you very much. Call me again. Grandpa? Good, good. From that day forward, the grandfather visited Sergey daily. Svetlana looked frustrated as the old man ignored her own son, Artyom. The elderly man even pinched Artyom's leg in annoyance. Finally, Artyom made his first sound, a cry. Svetlana laughed nervously and presented him to the grandfather. Quote 16. The old man played with Sergey for a while longer, then glanced at Artyom. He thought the child looked thin, small, with a pale yellow face, crying and fussy. No excitement at all. Quote 17. Svetlana's face turned pale. Over the following days, the grandfather visited Sergey constantly. Since Sergey had started talking, he even began using other words. Mama, auntie. Anna couldn't have been happier. But then Svetlana started getting close to Anna, pretending to be friendly.